Hi there. So this is what I hear people saying all the time. Well, no, that's not true. What I see is the effective reasons for people deciding not to make eco choices most of the time. These are the reasons that I see time and time again, is that making the eco-friendly option is either feels like deprivation, like you're denying yourself, you're not allowed to do things, not allowing yourself to eat meat, to drive, to fly on holiday somewhere nice and hot, not allowing yourself to do all these things that you would love to do that feel amazing, that, you know, that's where you get your pleasure from in life, and not being able to do those things, then that can feel like, you know, you're depriving yourself. Like everybody else has got all these amazing things going on in their life. Why can't I have that too? So, you know, that sense of being deprived if you're going to live an eco-friendly lifestyle is definitely one of the things that puts many people off making that choice. Totally understandable. Why would you want to live a worse life just because you want to be eco-friendly? I mean, let's just disregard the fact that, you know, if the potential, the biggest fears of climate change catastrophe are realised, then we're going to be deprived of a hell of a lot more than just a summer holiday abroad somewhere, you know, or just a bit of meat. We're going to be deprived of a hell of a lot more than just that. Possibly even we're going to be deprived of the survival of our entire species and many, many others. But let's just put that aside. That seems like kind of possibly an abstract idea. Like, how could that possibly happen? It doesn't seem, even though, you know, we all know that that's what the science is pointing to. That's what the science suggests might be possible, might be about to happen. But it just doesn't seem likely, does it? You know, oh, we're all fine. You know, how could that possibly happen? Well, it could. But obviously, because it seems so abstract and it seems so unlikely, then that sense of depriving yourself, well, for many of us, there doesn't seem any urgency, and why would we want to deprive ourselves of that joy and that pleasure? Completely understand it. And the other thing is, why make your life more inconvenient? We all are willing to pay more for a bit of inconvenience. Nobody's willing to pay more for a bit of inconvenience, but we're all willing to pay more for more convenience, you know. There wouldn't be the opportunity to buy many of the things that we can buy. For example, you know, pre-chopped veg in the supermarket, packaged, pre-made microwave meals that you just pop in and bing, a couple of minutes later, that's it, hot enough for you to have a hot meal. We wouldn't buy those things if we weren't attracted to convenience. So obviously, very few of us are going to want to take what we feel might be, or most probably is, an inconvenient choice. Why would you do that? Why would you choose to make an inconvenient choice in your life just because this possible abstract thing of climate change might be about to happen? And, you know, you may be getting your clothes out of the washing machine and hanging them up on the washing line outside rather than popping them directly into a tumble dryer and having them ready much quicker. You know, that inconvenience of doing that, despite there being so many benefits from doing it, but the inconvenience of doing it may be enough for you to feel like that's not worth you doing. And then the other thing is the unaffordable luxury. But first of all, let me go back to inconvenience, because if climate change happens, which it very likely will at the rate that we're going at the moment, if it happens, then life will be much more inconvenient than it is now. You know, if you haven't got, you know, a home because it's flooded or it's burnt in a wildfire, then that's pretty damn inconvenient not having your home. It's pretty inconvenient not being able to get food because the weather patterns have changed and the farmers are unable to grow the crops that they're used to growing, and you just can't get the food that you want to eat. That's quite inconvenient, don't you think? And then finally, unaffordable luxury. So obviously, affordability is a big thing. If you can't afford to do something, then you're not going to make that change. Sometimes it's not a question of really being able to afford some things. Some things may seem unaffordable because the upfront cost is a bit more, and then the payoff comes longer term. And, I think because of the way that climate change and the fear around it, but also the abstract nature of it, that future possibility can be so difficult to see. It's the same with, if you pay a bit more now, how do you know that that's definitely going to pay off? For example, shampoo bars. Shampoo bars tend to cost a bit more, like £4 or £5 maybe. So a bit more than your average bottle of shampoo at the supermarket. I mean, a lot less than your average bottle of shampoo in your hairdressers, but still, more money than you perhaps normally spend. For many people would perhaps normally spend on shampoo. But the thing is that a shampoo bar can last you like a really long time. Probably would last you at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 bottles worth of liquid shampoo. So that £5 for your shampoo bar is a fraction of the price that it will cost you to spend 3 or 4 quid, but 4, 5 or 6 times. So, but if you've never tried the shampoo bar, then you don't know that, and it's clearly some of these. It can seem like, oh, that shampoo bar, £5 is more expensive than my normal shampoo at £2.99 or whatever it is that you pay for it. So, which if you're feeling like that's unaffordable, then it's understandable because you don't know the maths. You haven't done the maths of how does that work out long term. And it's the same for many eco changes. It can cost more. It can cost more upfront, but then the longer term you get a payback. And it depends. Some things, doing work to your house, it can cost a lot. And so you do need to have that money up front. And I know that that's not always the situation for many people. We might have that money over the long term, but there aren't always mechanisms in place for you to be able to pay it off over a longer period. So there are certainly things being unaffordable is definitely a reason why you might struggle to make some eco-friendly choices in your life. That's totally understandable. On the other hand, the potential catastrophic outcome of climate change could really easily make many things much more unaffordable, and things that we now consider just standard basics that we have may become those unaffordable luxuries, like clean water and food and heating, which we all know is currently much more expensive than it was with the war that's going on. So these things, this sense of deprivation, this inconvenience, and this unaffordable luxury, how do we get past that? How do we get past that to start to make those eco-friendly choices so that we can take action, positive action, to prevent the worst of climate change happening, so that we don't have more deprivation, more inconvenience, and much more unaffordable luxury of just the basics in the future? How can we do that with positivity and making a much more huge impact compared to what each of us individually can do? That's what I have been working on, and my intention is for you to take part in that. My hope is that you will take part in that. So what I have done, I've created hi Gregory, I've created an event. It's going to happen in May, and it's called the Ecowins Week. And what I want to do is to help you to make eco-friendly changes in your life that feel easy, that feel pleasurable, and have that positive environmental impact, so that you can feel like it's a real win-win. But the thing is, another thing that can hold people back from making eco-friendly changes is that sense of, what's the point? Just me on my own buying a shampoo bar instead of a couple of bottles of shampoo in a year. What difference is that going to make? And the truth is, just you on your own, it's not going to make that huge a deal. Just one person swapping, let's say, 4 or 5 bottles of shampoo for a shampoo bar. Of course, it's not going to make that big a deal. But if you talk about that change that you're making, share that. If you find a shampoo that's really worked for you and you've enjoyed it, and you can see that, okay, it might cost you a little bit more to begin with, but it saved you actually quite a lot over the course of a year, and you've still got clean hair, you've enjoyed using it. It's actually, if you are going to fly, it's much easier to take a shampoo bar through security than bottles of liquid. You can have a cabin bag and not have to worry about things like that. It's going to, in terms of eco-friendly stuff, a shampoo bar tends to be less toxic, so you're releasing less toxicity into the water. It's a lot lighter, so all the soap is concentrated, doesn't have all the water added that a liquid shampoo does. So in terms of transport costs, the petrol, the energy used to transport it is much, much less. And the amount of times that you need to go and buy that shampoo, the transport that you need to get to the shop to buy it, is also less. And the amount of packaging is a lot less. All the plastics from the bottles is less. Often shampoo bars come with no plastic packaging. So there's a lot of benefits, but just you on your own making that is quite small. But if you then share about it and tell your friends and tell other people about that eco win that you've made, that small change that you've made, and how easy it's been, and how much you've enjoyed it, how much it's benefited you, and how much it's benefited the planet, then there is a chance that you can inspire them to also make that change. And that is where the magic starts to happen. The magic happens when your eco win becomes other people's eco wins, and it becomes this ripple effect of multiple people making small, easy, pleasurable changes that can have a massive impact. So imagine if, when you went to the supermarket, instead of seeing shelves and shelves of plastic bottles full of shampoo, you saw shelves of cardboard boxes with shampoo bars instead. No plastics, and much less product in terms of quantity. Doesn't have to take as much shelf space up, can look more beautiful, but also you'd have the options. You could have options of all these different, the same sorts of options that you have now, but with a much more eco-friendly product. Now, that's not going to happen unless there is a much bigger demand for things like shampoo bars. And this is just one small example. There are so many changes that I personally have made in my life. Shampoo bar is one of them. I've changed I only use a shampoo bar now, and it works really well. I like it. It's, I wouldn't go back to using a liquid shampoo. But if you're not also doing that, then if you're gonna, you could also do the same thing and tell your friends and tell your family about it. And they could also share and tell their friends and family about it. And all together we can make this huge, massive change just with shampoo bars. Think of all those plastic bottles that normally are full of shampoo, and then all of them gone. You don't need to create any more shampoo bottles ever again. All that plastic saved. It's massive. That transformation is massive, and so many other options that we've got. We've got so many choices. So with Ecowins Week, this is where you can come along and take part and share your eco-wins. It's about sharing your wins, inspiring others to make the same or a similar change, and then celebrating the fact that you have made this positive impact and other people are also going to do that too. And this can become a huge, powerful movement, really. That's what I'm hoping. So I really hope that you will join me and come and take part in Ecowins Week, which happens the 9th to the 13th of May. I look forward to seeing you then. I look forward to hearing about your eco-wins. I look forward to being inspired by you. I look forward to celebrating your wins and celebrating the things that we learn from each other and the options we have for making more eco improvements in our lives that are not necessarily going to feel like deprivation or inconvenience or unaffordable luxury, but instead are going to feel easier and more pleasurable, and also feel good to know that we are making a difference, and cumulatively together we can make even more huge difference together. So sign up for Ecowins Week. It's taking place in my free Facebook group, which is the Create Your Happy Eco Home Facebook group, and it will be open for you to come in and to go live like I'm doing now and show us what you've changed, talk about it, or to post however you feel more comfortable, share a photograph and write something about it. Either way, you're more than welcome to join in. If you're eco-curious but you have not made huge numbers of eco-wins, that's fine. Come along, join in, hear about other people's eco-wins and be inspired to find an eco-win that will suit you too. Not all wins are going to be the same for everybody. And if you're an eco-warrior already, you already do many things that are eco-friendly, then come along, join in, amplify the hard work that you have done to consider your choices, to make your decisions, to make those life changes, and come along and share the things that have worked for you, share what your eco-wins are, and inspire us and let us celebrate you. That's what it's all about. I'll see you there. Ecowins Week, 9th to the 13th of May. Bye for now.